In the early 1950s, the Soviets were developing a state-of-the-art light cruiser designed for guerrilla-like warfare on the seas, while having all the new technology. This ship was a problem, a serious one, so the British addressed it by introducing the Blackburn Buccaneer. Mach 1 capable, 2-seater all-weather naval strike fighter, this monster became one of the United Kingdom's main defenses against the almighty Soviet Navy. This is the story of an amazing aircraft during the Cold War. In the early 1950s, the Soviets were developing the Shevdov-class cruiser, a light cruiser designed for all tasks, but mostly killing capitalists. Aboard this ship was all the latest technology such as radar, sonars, better guns, and even early cruise missiles and anti-aircraft missiles, or SAMs. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy had many ships left over from the Second World War, which were outdated and ineffective in modern battles. So, to counter this threat without spending billions, the Royal Navy decided to use all the ships they already had and introduced a specialized strike aircraft employing conventional or nuclear weapons. Operating from the Navy's fleet carriers and striking at a high speed, low level, this would offer a great solution to the Shevdov problem. The Royal Navy's competition asked for a jet that was low flying, below 50 feet. Supersonic in level flight and being deployed on carriers, therefore needing a folding wing, and a combat radius of at least 400 nautical miles and a weapons load of 8,000 pounds, including both bombs, rockets, naval cruise missiles, and even, again, a nuclear weapon. Many aircraft were submitted and evaluated, but in the end, Blackburn's proposal was the best fit for the job and it was chosen. Blackburn had previous experience with naval aircraft. Their design incorporated all of the requested features while being at a relatively low cost per unit. On April 30th, 1958, the aircraft took its maiden flight from RAE Bedford and entered testing until 1963. That same year, the first production variant entered service with the Fleet Air arm of the Royal Navy on board HMS Hermes. And off it went, protecting Britain's shores and the rest of NATO. Later versions, such as the S2, came with improved engines and avionics in 1966. In October 1962, 16 aircraft were ordered by the South African Air Force. These were the S-50, which were equipped with a strengthened undercarriage and a higher capacity wheel brakes, along with more missiles and bombs. Their aircraft would go on to serve in many smaller conflicts in the region, but by far the biggest was the South African Border War, where it frequently served as a CAS aircraft. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy Buccaneers participated in regular patrols and exercises in the North Sea, practicing the type's role if war with the USSR ever broke out. The Royal Air Force also operated the aircraft, after dismissing other aircraft as unsuitable for the fighter-bomber role, with a total of 6 squadrons flying it. Under the RAF, it saw active service in Cyprus, Lebanon, and the Gulf Wars of 1991. In Operation Desert Storm, it was a low-flying bomber. It was expected that the aircraft would take part, so when an order came in, they got ready, and only 72 hours later, they took off from IF Lossiemouth for the Middle Eastern Theater on January 26, 1991. During the war, it became common for each attack formation to comprise of 4 Tornadoes and 2 Buccaneers, with the Buccaneers sticking around and bombing any surviving targets or nearby targets. No aircraft were lost. However, it eventually became time to retire the Buccaneers, as by then they were already 30 years old, and in March 1994, the very last Royal Air Force Buccaneers were retired. This was due to cruise ship missiles and anti-ship missiles becoming more useful, along with better sonar and radar technology, which made the Soviet ships much less dangerous. The Royal Navy retired theirs all the way back in 1979 and replaced it with the Sea Harrier, serving on smaller aircraft carriers, as the ones the Buccaneer served on were retired. The South Africans also retired theirs just 3 years earlier in 1991. Here we'll take the S2 variant. It was a relatively large aircraft, being 20 meters long and 5 meters high, with a wingspan of 13 meters. Its max speed is 580 knots, or Mach 1.07 in level flight, and much higher in a dive. It can fly as high as 40,000 feet with a range of 2,000 nautical miles and a combat radius of 800 nautical miles. It has 5 hardpoints in total, with 4 on the wing and 1 big bomb bay in the middle, with a capacity of over 4,000 pounds, or even a nuclear weapon. So, in conclusion, the Blackburn Buccaneer was an aircraft born of a desperate need, but ending up serving over 30 years. It didn't sell very well, however, it did move a lot of dirt. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. See ya!